Okay, let's talk about The Last of Us. Alright, so don't worry, I'm going to get to the gameplay in a second. I'm going to show you some stuff like I normally do with these videos. I normally don't do this in front of the camera like this, and I haven't done this in a while. There is a reason why I'm doing it. So, I'm not really that big of a fan of The Last of Us. Yeah, I know, shocker. I actually made a video a while back saying, is it worth it for The Last of Us for the first game? And this was for when it originally came out on PS3. It got so much hype behind it. It had so much praise behind it. So when I played it, I went in thinking like, okay, this might be actually a good story, a good game that I'm going to play. And I thought it was just okay. I'm kind of in the minority on that regard. I don't think the first game was a masterpiece. I think what it did do well was present its characters, its environment, its development. I think it did development very well. And this overall feel of fear and dread, especially with the majority of the game you're going up against the infected, and probably about, I would say 30 or 40% of the game you're going up against other humans, other rival groups, and things like that. But it was a simple story. It was a story that, not that we haven't seen before, was just one man and one child basically going across country to try to get to where they need to go. And it's not like that hasn't been done before. These post-apocalyptic stories have been done before, have been done to death. Even when the first game came out, I was kind of getting a little zombie fatigue around that time period. But The Last of Us did something a little bit special by having it be this sort of fungus, this parasite, and you wanted to learn more about, and you did as it went on, and you found out that there was different stages of these infected with their with this fungus. And even though I thought it was kind of dull at sometimes, kind of drawn out or cliche written, it was still an enjoyable ride. It was still an enjoyable game. My biggest gripe with it, as far as the first game goes, and I think the remaster that came out for the PS4, which I don't have here, I thought I had it here, I think did slightly better, was the gameplay mechanics. Now I know I like the scavenging and stuff like that. It was mostly the shooting I thought was pretty bad, and this was after I played. Now this was before I started playing the Uncharted series from Naughty Dog. I actually got into the Uncharted series after I played the first Last of Us, and just seeing the difference between that gameplay and what The Last of Us was, I was like, okay, there's definitely some things that they need to work on if they're going to make a sequel to this. But at the time, they said that they wasn't going to make a sequel to this. But unfortunately, Naughty Dog kind of ended all their franchises for the most part. Uncharted ended with Uncharted 4, and I guess you can count the Chloe Uncharted game that came out, was it The Lost Legacy or something like that? Which is actually a good game. I still, to this day, I think that's a good game. I actually think that's better than The Last of Us Part 2, but that's just me. So, Naughty Dog didn't really have any, series to kind of land on, because they kind of got rid of everything, got rid of Crash Bandicoot and all that stuff like years ago. Which Crash 4 is coming out, by the way. I can't wait till that comes out. But getting back on track, we go from that to The Last of Us Part 2 finally. And no sir, I didn't like it. Okay, so Last of Us Part 2, honestly, where do I begin? It's kind of a mess. Not only is it all over the place with its flashbacks and moving this part forward and moving this part back, as I talked about in the first game, how I really like the character development, and not necessarily all the characters hit home in the first game for me. A lot of them wasn't even around on screen that much. Besides the two main characters, Joel and Ellie, which is the ones that you get attached to, which is the ones that you follow their journey. You actually get behind behind their story, behind their motivation for why Joel is doing what he's doing, why Ellie wants to do what she wants to do, and you really get to like these characters and understand these characters. Well, that is all gone in the second game, as they just kind of just throw all that out the window. I'm sure it's not too early to talk about spoilers, since everyone in the world has either already seen the leaks or have played the game. Now, I am going to say this though, I did see the leaks beforehand. I read them, and I was spoiled on it on YouTube, of course. So I mean, I wasn't necessarily going in with a blind eye. Although I did not know how the game ended. The only things I was spoiled on was the fact that Ellie was a boss in the game, that Joel does die, and the way he dies is just stupid. So there was some certain things that I knew going in, but I didn't know the ending of the game, and I didn't know it was going to end the way that it ended. But I'll get to that in a second. So let's start off with characters. Like I said before, none of the old characters that we're used to, such as Joel, Tommy, and Ellie, they don't act like how they act in the first game. They just seem so out of character, so detached from how they would act before, or how they would treat strangers, or how they would go about, if there was violence done to them. Now, in the first game, I never really seen characters as far as, ready to go out and seek revenge or anything like that. And in this type of environment, I guess it does kind of make sense, because everyone are assholes here. I'm sorry, I have to say it. I might get demonetized for that, but it's the truth. No one is likable in this world. And in the first game, like I said, you can kind of get behind the motivations of them in the first game. In the second one, I can't get behind anybody. I don't like anyone in this game. I don't even like Ellie. Tommy acts out of character. I don't even know what the heck Joel was in this for, just to be a plot device. There's nothing in here that makes me like any of the characters, and any of the new characters, like the ones from Tommy's what do you call it, homestead, or the area, wherever. They're safe haven. The new characters from Haven, such as Jesse and Diana, they're okay. They're kind of dull, especially Diana. I wasn't really, it's not that she was bad. It's not that I personally hate her character or anything like that, but she didn't even get any response from me. I didn't get really any emotion from her. Whether she died or not, I honestly didn't care. I actually thought that she was going to die. So I will give this game credit for, unlike the first game where I kind of predicted, oh yeah, this character that we run into, they're probably going to die, this character that we run into, where I can see the cliches coming. This one was a little bit unpredictable, but I guess you can say that because the story just felt so disjointed. So, and then we have Jesse's character, which was, I thought was okay. He was kind of likable. And he just dies unceremoniously with nothing. His death just gets swept under the rug. Okay, that's another character that's gone. And that's the thing. The amount of new characters that you meet, they're all gone. They all died. So it's like, what even is the point in the story? Yeah, I know revenge is bad, blah, blah, whatever. But you have to have... I guess you have to get past the suspension of disbelief, and it's so hard when characters are making decisions that no normal human being will make. It just doesn't make any sense. Okay, and then you have Abby's character, and let's talk about Abby's character. Now, I'm just gonna come out and say it. Abby has the best weapons. She has the best story scenarios in the entire game. It seems like she gets all the better stuff. When I was playing as Ellie, it just felt more like, just a long side quest. And then once I actually played as Abby, it felt like the real game. Now, I put about 25 hours into the game. I'm pretty sure, 23, 25, give or take. And I pretty much did everything. I tried to do everything. I tried to get my $60 worth. And I would say I did feel like I did, even though there's like no multiplayer here, but I didn't really care for the multiplayer in the first game. I think I played it like once and that was it. I was mostly there for the story. But here, I did feel as though I did play a $60 game because it's a very beautiful looking game. It's gorgeous. It's possibly one of the best looking games I've played since Red Dead Redemption 2. So I mean, it's definitely up there with how great it looks. And I mean, Outer Worlds, I guess you could say was a pretty good one. But the difference between those games and this game is that they have better stories. Anyway, but going back to Abby, like I said, she just has all the best stuff, and she is completely unlikable. She has no remorse. She makes decisions that, like I said before, with all the other characters that no human being will make. Joel saves her at one point, and literally like 10 seconds later, I would say probably 10 minutes in real time later, she puts a bullet in him and then beats him to death with a golf club. What? Who does this? She didn't even take a moment to say, oh, well, maybe I have the wrong guy, or, whoa, he actually is the right guy, or maybe I shouldn't do this, or maybe if she probably would have gave some reason to second guess herself, or probably try to get some more information out of him on why he did what he did. It seemed like he didn't even know who she was, even as she was beating his head in, because she didn't tell him anything. Oh, do you remember me? Like, no, I don't remember you because you didn't exist. And then you got all these other characters. Some of them I can't remember. Owen, who has this like love affair with Abby, and also got this other girl pregnant named Mel, who for some reason is a pregnant woman going on all these missions with guns and arrows and all these crazy psychotic people that want to cut your arms off and flail them around, or and she's going on these missions. Okay, that's just stupidity in itself. That's just something that was written in just to give drama for a character that really didn't need to be there. And considering that Abby's entire group is made up of like 500 people, you mean to tell me one other person couldn't go? Anyway, so and then Owen, he's a complete dirtbag because he wants two females at the same time apparently. And he wants his cake and eat it too, and he wants another cake and he wants to eat that as well. I did not like him at all. I could not get behind the romance. I thought it was cringy. I thought the dialogue was unbelievable. I just really couldn't get into it, and that was mostly the times where I kind of got out of it. It was the human connection. Any of the stuff with the infected I thought was actually done really well. It kind of reminded me of the first game where you get stuck in this collapsed building with Abby and one of the other characters, Lev or Lily or whatever his name is, and you're stuck in there and you have to go get a gas mask because there's only one gas mask between the two of you. I thought that was really well done. So you're like going through like this broken hotel area, and there's infected on this side and there's infected on this side, and you got to keep quiet, and there's a bloater, and then and then they introduce like another form of the infected that Abby has to fight, and it's actually really good boss battle that I died in multiple times. So I mean, there was definitely some things that was done right, but if anything, if I had to do it in percentage, I'll probably say like 30% of it was done right. The other 70% was all characters, dialogue, story, and all that stuff. It was just terrible. I just didn't enjoy it. And the game is forcing you. The game is forcing you to feel bad. Now, when I mentioned those other games like Red Dead Redemption 2 or Outer Worlds, which games that give you a choice at certain points in the game, like, okay, so a game like the Outer Worlds is kind of like Fallout or something like that. It's based entirely on player's choice. I like those type of games where you actually get the choice to do so, and it seems like more games are starting to do that. Red Dead Redemption 2 did that as well with its morality system. Now, you couldn't change the ending of the game, but your perspective and how people view you and all that stuff that you could change. In the Outer Worlds, it was different. You can actually change the ending of the game. But whereas The Last of Us 2, you're just forcing these scenarios that like, hey, this isn't going to turn out right. Why would my character do this? Hey, let me make another decision. Let me not, try to stab this person in the neck. But somehow the AI knows exactly where you are they find you, and then you're just like, okay, so now I gotta kill everybody in this room. I didn't want to kill everybody. I was only going after this one person, but I have to kill them anyway because I gotta scavenge for some stuff, or they're just in my way, or a dog gives you away, and then you gotta stab the dog or shoot the dog in the face, and it's just, ugh, it doesn't even give you a choice of even trying to sneak past these people. I tried multiple times to just go pure stealth and just probably sneak past people. And I always also did, just went in guns a blazing to see the difference and how you do things. You can not get past everybody. I personally have not been able to get past everybody without starting some sort of firefight, because you're killing people that has nothing to do with this whole revenge thing, and you kind of feel bad about it. If you have any sort of conscience, you'll feel bad about it. But it's a video game, so you just feel like it's just stupid that the fact that the game's not giving you this choice, especially when it comes to the ending between the Ellie and Abby boss fight, fist fight towards the end. You're just like, well, I can see where this is going at this point. I can see where this is going, but maybe I might be able to make a decision. Nope! You gotta play the story that's built out right in front of you. They force you into the situation. They even play the depressing music and makes you feel so bad that you killed this dog. That's an Abby story that you actually get to play with, and you get the pet and all that. Oh, but Ellie kills him because Ellie's the bad guy now. Just, what? It's just a complete 180 of these characters. And Abby, oh my god, Abby is, like I said before, is so unlikable. She has no remorse for anything that she does. She somehow gets everything that she wants and gets away scot-free, in my personal opinion. So the whole revenge thing doesn't even work out in the end because she gets let go. I don't get why they thought that this would be a proper story for them. Honestly, they could have done it this way, but if you wanted to kill off Joel, that's fine. Like I said, I didn't really care for the first game. I thought it was overhyped. I thought it was just okay. So I'm not that attached to these characters like other people are. I honestly only brought this game because there's nothing out right now. I'm waiting for Ghost of Tsushima, and Cyberpunk got pushed back, so I gotta wait until November for that one. Then of course we got some other games coming out like Crash Bandicoot and stuff, but that's way later. So at the time, I was like, okay, I want something to play. So I was like, oh, The Last of Us 2 is out. I guess I'll buy that. So I'm not really the fan base that they was aiming for, even though I still am kind of upset with how the way the story went. So because it's just stupid as far as writing wise. God, I really tried to get behind it. I just could not get behind it. I just was not feeling it whatsoever. Ugh. Alright, so I went on a complete tangent about the story and the characters and all that. Gameplay, there's not really much to talk there. I already said graphics are good. Gameplay, very similar to the first game. Even though I think that it's tweaked a little bit better than the first game. Like I said, where I kind of struggle with the first game, especially as far as the shooting. Like when you aim the circle at, you actually shoot where the circle goes this time. Unlike the first game where I had to resort to melee all the time because for some reason my bullets wouldn't go where the reticle said that they were going to go. Who would have figured that if you tweak that a little bit, and they did do it in the remastered version, that it would actually be a lot better. But anywho, the gameplay was pretty much the same as the first game. Not much innovation here. I was hoping for a little bit more, especially considering that this was made for the generation following the previous one. It wasn't made on the PS3, PS4. So I was expecting a little bit more, especially after they've been working on it for like the past 7 years. Didn't really find much to say about that there. The guitar mini game is actually I kind of like it. I'm really bad with it, but I do kind of like it. I've seen some people on YouTube actually make some decent stuff out of that. Although when Ellie started singing a slow version of "Take on Me," I'm so used to the normal 80s version, and just hearing that this sort of like acoustic guitar version just felt a little weird. I think the song was a little too slow. But that has nothing to do with how the mini game was played out. I thought it was played out pretty well, although I didn't do it as much. even though the AI also can be a problem, I actually thought the AI was done pretty well, and especially on the infected. Like if you move, especially with clickers, man, those are the worst for me. I can deal with any other infected except for clickers. Excuse me. If you make the slightest noise with the clickers, you're done. They're somehow able to find you. It's totally ridiculous, but it actually makes for a worthy challenge. I found fighting the infected way more interesting than I was fighting the humans because I just was not interested in the story that was going on with them, and that's a big problem. Where you're not invested in what's going on, you're not going to be interested in where it goes, obviously. So, in conclusion, if they are gonna make a Last of Us Part 3, which I hope they don't. I mean, it's up to them. It's Naughty Dog's baby. I'm not really interested in it. I think I'm kind of done with this series. I was sort of done after the first game, but like I said, COVID-19 hit. We have a delay in some games, movies, and a whole bunch of stuff. So there was nothing really. So I started buying like older games. So it's nothing that was new that was really coming out. So I said, okay, you know what? I'll go ahead and buy this, even though all the rumors. And I saw the leaks and all that, and yeah, I still said I was going to buy it. Hey, at least I'll get a game out of it, and I did get a game out of it. But was it worth it? Honestly, I could have went my entire life without playing The Last of Us Part 2, and I would have been fine. I would have been completely fine. All right, guys, that's it. I'm just going to leave it there. There was some more stuff that I wanted to say. Can't remember right now. Maybe I might put it in the comment or description or something like that. So overall, on a scale of 1 to 10, I probably about a 6 or a 7. If I would give it a 7, it'd definitely be on graphics and stuff alone. But the story and the characters and the decisions that are made just brings the rating down for me. It just brings the score down. But it's not a badly made game. Like as far as development goes, like I said, as far as environment, character models, when these characters are talking, the actors do a very good job portraying them. You're really into this, but it's just so disjointed and kind of all over the place, especially with these flashbacks within flashbacks of these characters finding a character that they know that they can't win against, and they still try to attack them even though the other person has the upper hand. So of course, what do you think is going to happen? Scenarios that characters put themselves in, such as this pregnant woman Mel being on the battlefield, it makes no sense. It's dumb. It's stupid. Like I said, it could have been done better. It could have had to where, okay, you start off with Joel and Ellie. Let's say that something like Tommy gets kidnapped or something, and then they're using Tommy as bait to try to get Joel, and then they get Joel halfway through the game, and then you play as Ellie for the rest. Or how about this? You could have, if you wanted to have the same exact story that you have, maybe start off with Abby. Maybe Abby could have been the first half, and we got to see her as a kid with her father, and then we can feel bad for this character. But by the time any of that comes, it's way too late. You don't care at this point. I was already at the 15-hour mark by the time this came in, by the time her story came in. So I didn't really care at this point. Why would I want to play as this character that already murdered a character that actually was written a lot better than her? And I'm not saying that that Joel in himself was a great character. Heck, Ellie's not even well, I wouldn't say character. He was good character, a good person within the world. Not even Ellie is a good person within the world. But this is a world that's full of killers. Full of killers. Heck, in the first game you had cannibals. They will find strangers, kill them, and eat them. And don't even know what they did with the women. So, I mean, it is what it is. It is what it is. This is the game that we got. I think it could have been done a lot better. I was disappointed in how it was presented, and I don't know, maybe Naughty Dog can get back on their feet. There's nothing I can do. I downloaded the game, so it's not like I can't return it. No refunds for PlayStation. So yeah, that's it. It'll always be on my PlayStation. Actually, I'm about to delete it right now, but The save data and stuff will always be on my PlayStation, so at least it showed that I did play it. Alright, so thank you guys for watching. Sorry this video was so long. Let's see how long it actually was. We are sitting at about 25 minutes, so I apologize for that. It's probably going to cut this down a little bit more, and we'll just see where it goes from there. Alright, thank you guys for watching, especially if you click on the video. If you stay for the, especially if you stay for the entire thing, you definitely click on the video if you're hearing me right now. And I'll catch you guys in the next one. Take care.
Have you?
I could be hiding it. You do.
Do you believe that?
Is now really the time for this?
We traveled across the entire country to bring me to the Fireflies. I had so many questions for them. Why did you pull me out of there while I was still unconscious?
Because I let them run their tests. And when I saw that they were useless, I got us out of there.
How do you know they were useless? Maybe if you just would have given them more time, they could have figured something out.
There was no cure. There's nothing that could help these people or anybody else. I know you wish things were different. I wish things were different. But they ain't. And we need to get these kids back to their families. Is there something else you'd like to rehash?